So Baldur's Gate 3 dev Larry and publishing director calls games industry layoffs an avoidable flip up. Larian's publishing director says the notion that industry-wide layoffs are inevitable is just not true. Agreed. I've been saying this the whole time, dude. My stance on what has been happening over the past couple of years in the industry with all these layoffs and everything has been this. Was there the potential for a few layoffs here and there because of a little bit of some industry bloat hire due to the pandemic? Potentially. But most of this comes down to bad business decisions. A lot of bad business decisions that have come back and bit a lot of these companies in the ass. And what they've done is they've used, you know, a lot of default, really kind of scapegoaty kind of excuses for laying off tons of people and not wanting to blame bad business decisions for it. And they just don't care. They're like, well, as long as executives are still sitting fat, you know, and we'll just crush all the, you know, low to mid-level employees. Who gives a crap, right? And that's the way this has come off for quite some time now. Over the past few months, Baldur's Gate 3 developers have used its platform during award season speeches to advocate for a healthier game industry. Yo, that sounds like what we do here. That's awesome. This tradition now extends to its publishing director, who in a recent interview with GameFile shared his thoughts on industry-wide layoffs plaguing developers over the past 2 years as an avoidable flip-up. Chief among 2024's massive layoffs include Nintendo announcing its restructuring in March, which has potential to affect over 100 contract workers. Sony laying off roughly 900 employees in February, including developers across studios like Insomniac, Naughty Dog, and Guerrilla. Microsoft laying off 1,900 staff from its workforce in January, following its $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. The complex and avoidable nature of layoffs. Speaking with GameFile's Stephen Totio, Michael Dowse likened major gaming companies to massive oil tankers predicated on their ability to steer towards success. Should a company fail to plan accordingly when giving developers proper financial reserves to pilot, fallout via layoffs is sure to come. Instead of feeling like layoffs are an inevitable aspect of the gaming industry, Dowse argues they are avoidable. I agree, in large part. But to prevent these giant operational failures that we call layoffs, they are an avoidable flip-up. That's really all they are. Dowse told GameFile, that's why you see one after the other, because companies are going, well, finally, we can too. We've wanted to do it for ages. Everyone else is, so why don't we? That's really kind of sick. I've talked about that too. You'll see it happen. It'll be a domino effect. And it's like some of these companies go, well, if we do it now, we won't catch as much criticism for it because other companies are doing it too. Dowse credited much of Baldur's Gate 3's achievements, namely maintaining a healthy work environment for its employees, to Larian Studios being a privately owned company unbeholden to shareholders. Agreed. That's not only it, though. So one of the reasons Larian is so good is, for one, they're an independent corporation. They also are run very well. So just because you're an independent corporation doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. You have to have people that institute these very, very good foundational values into the company. And it's about taking care of your employees, taking care of your consumer base, taking care of your fan base, right? Larian has that. They've done that. They do that. They've been doing that, and it shows, right? So just because you're an independent company, and you know, any company, independent, subsidiary, doesn't matter. If you've got a toxic, terrible culture within your organization, it's going to eventually fail. Yeah, it spreads like wildfire. It's nasty. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. It's really gross. Not necessarily in the gaming industry, but in the tech industry for sure. And Larian apparently does come off as a very, very good company that takes care of its people, has a good management system. You know, they've got a solid foundation of you know, ethics within, you know, their management system and the way that they take care of their employees and consumers and fan base. And it shows. When asked whether Larian Studios would ever go public, Dow said it might give them more money, but it would be antithetical to the quality part of what we're trying to do. I love to hear that, dude. So it would make our games better. It wouldn't make our games better. It would just make us rushed, Dow said. If you asked us what Baldur's Gate 3 would look like, how much it would cost, and how it would feel 3 years ago, I wouldn't know. We just took it day by day. As an operation, we created reserves. We scoped up based on what we thought we would need and created reserves and fallbacks, just in case we would have to. Luckily, we don't have to. We're just nimble. Being nimble is key. Big companies are not nimble. Truth. While Douse doesn't ascribe to the notion that the video games industry is on the verge of collapse, he does think its traditional methods of marketing on social media websites like Twitter are becoming less important. I mean, for Baldur's Gate 3, we didn't really do a lot of marketing. People talk about the bear scene as a big marketing beat. It wasn't. It was a communication, something we decided to do to showcase one extreme of romance in the game, as opposed to the Carlock scene in the restaurant. Douse went on to argue that marketing, while a form of communication, doesn't generate the social resonance online that people want to engage in meaningful conversations over. A game's success is defined by how socially resonant it is, Douse said. It's not defined by a person who decided this game was successful, which is a brilliant thing. Toward the latter half of the interview, Douse drew parallels to Baldur's Gate 3's critical and commercial success, despite being a flippin' CRPG. It says CPRG. It's supposed to be CRPG. Investors would have otherwise never taken a chance on to the meteoric success of Palworld, who reached 19 million total players less than 2 weeks after launch. They took a bunch of mechanics they knew people liked, made a game that was unbothered by what a game should be, and they gave it directly to players who decided to buy it. That's really simple. It's not rocket science, Douse said. The analysts are confused because they didn't see it coming. They want basic data sets and predictability. They're going to be confused a lot in the future. Me too. I like being confused. We work best in chaos. Yeah, agreed. Very good article. And I agree. I've talked about this a lot. A lot of the same sentiments that have been expressed here, I've been expressing regarding these layoffs and things like that, and what it means to be a solid company that I think that us as gaming enthusiasts and consumers should be supporting, as opposed to the ones that we shouldn't be supporting, you know?